6, the Scorpion Unit, a name and unit that is meant to help the community, has now come under fire since the brutal beating of Tyree Nichols. Tonight, we're hearing from the Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt for the first time since he suggested a name change for his officers' specialized team. His suggestion comes just days after 5 now former officers were charged in Nichols' death.
And those same officers were part of the now disbanded unit, also called the Scorpion Unit, inside the Memphis Police Department. 11 Alive's Faith Jesse spoke with the sheriff about how changing the unit's name could have a profound impact on how those officers do their jobs.
Hi, Ron and Jennifer. Sheriff Pat Labatt tells us that the county's Scorpion Unit was launched back in 2021 to help fight crime throughout Fulton County. He says up until the killing of Tyree Nichols, the Scorpion Unit in Fulton County was a positive presence in the community. Now, what you're seeing right now is video of the Fulton County Scorpion Unit at work. The sheriff tells me since this crime suppression unit launched, his officers have made more than 400 felony arrests, executed 180 warrants, and helped keep repeat offenders at bay. He also says each of his officers in this unit understands the severity of their role and all undergo frequent psychological reviews, welfare checks, and physical fitness tests. And in light of the now fired Memphis officers that you just saw on your screen being charged with the brutal beating of Nichols, Sheriff Labatt says he wants the community to continue to trust his officers and not connect them with something as negative as the incident in Memphis.
I'm not tone deaf. The facts are the name Scorpion didn't kill anybody. It's the heinous acts of those that were involved. And so as part of rebuilding our community trust, we want to make sure people are associated with good. We want to make sure people are associated with those that are protecting them.
And we also asked Labatt when we could see a name change. He tells us that he plans to meet with his team to make decisions on the next steps.
There's so many things that always cross my mind when hatred or anti-Semitism or racism just appear in the news again. It's, oh no, not again.
Right now, police in Sandy Springs and Dunwoody are investigating after several people woke up over the weekend to anti-Semitic literature left in their neighborhoods. Many reported seeing plastic sandwich bags like these filled with the messages of hate. And this is not the first time anti-Semitic speech has made its way into neighborhoods across Georgia. The Anti-Defamation League says in 2021 there was a 131% increase in anti-Semitic incidents.
We're putting our audit together for 2022 right now, and so far we are finding that the numbers are even higher. And to give you a sense of what that looks like historically, 2021, we saw the highest number of incidents on record since we started collecting this data in 1979. So we expect that 22 will be another record year.
Today, we spoke with Rabbi Larry Cernovitz, and he says even after years of hate, the Jewish people are resilient.
For centuries that people have persecuted the Jewish community, many of those are no longer here anymore, but we're still here because we have an eternal hope in our hearts, and we build bridges, and we care about humanity in its essence.
The Sandy Springs and Dunwoody police departments are encouraging anyone who received the materials over the weekend or who have any information to please contact their departments. At 6, we have just learned that a special prosecutor will oversee the investigation and case over the shooting at the future site of Atlanta's police training facility. The GBI making this announcement within the last 10 minutes. The move comes after the DeKalb County District Attorney voluntarily recused herself.
So the investigation is looking into the shooting of the Georgia State Trooper and the protester who was shot and killed in that same incident. So the GBI says it happened when the troopers returned fire. This is all connected to the protesters objecting to an Atlanta police training facility being built in a wooded area of DeKalb County. DeKalb court records show 27 protesters have been arrested since December. That case does not include charges tied to the protest Saturday in Atlanta. So that resulted in damage to businesses and Atlanta police cruiser being set on fire as well. The 6 people arrested Saturday are being charged by the Fulton County DA. Now, DeKalb County DA Sherry Boston says this is the first time she has ever recused herself from a case.
My decision is based upon several factors, including our ongoing involvement in the multi-jurisdictional task force charged with holding those responsible who commit crimes.
Now, the DA's office will still be involved in handling cases currently filed against Cop City protesters arrested in DeKalb County. But why did DA Sherry Boston recuse herself from the trooper shooting investigation and not the protesters' arrest? Well, it's a question many are asking tonight. And 11 Alive's Faith Jesse went to Boston's predecessor to get some of those answers, Faith.
Yeah, Ron, a lot of people are asking that question. DA Sherry Boston says her reasoning for wanting to recuse herself was to ensure the investigation into protester Emmanuel Pais's death was fair and accurate. And we got our hands on the letter of recusal Boston sent to the Attorney General's office. While there is no legal standing as to why she recused herself, in the letter she states that the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office is a part of a task force that investigates and prosecutes domestic terrorism acts occurring in and around the future site of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. We asked Attorney Robert James, the former District Attorney of DeKalb County, about Boston recusing herself from investigating the trooper shooting while still prosecuting the protesters. He tells us there's no clear-cut answer on what any other DA would have done if put in that position.
There's nothing that legally requires her to do so. It's a crime. It's one that apparently she's been given some level of jurisdiction to prosecute. And unlike the state troopers, she's not engaged in any activities with the protesters, right? And so the circumstances are different. It looks bad, but in fairness, the circumstances are different. She's not on a task force with the protesters. There's no joint action with the protesters. And she didn't sign off on their actions.
So we asked Attorney James what happens next in this case. He tells us another state prosecutor will be appointed and sworn in. And he also tells us the public should pay very close attention to who the attorney is and ensure that they have the necessary separation from the case to be able to try this case fairly.
New tonight, Herschel Walker dominating Georgia's GOP Senate race ahead of the May primary. This is according to an exclusive 11 Alive Survey USA poll. His closest competitor, the state's Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black, who has only 6%. And it's virtually a toss-up when you ask Georgia voters who they'd vote for if Walker was up against Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock. And though it appears to be a tight race, Senator Warnock says the poll results speak to the work he's been doing for Georgia. He tells us he isn't finished yet.
I'm honored to represent the people of Georgia every single day, which is why I'm focused right now on lowering the cost of prescription drugs in general and insulin in particular. Why I'm pushing the President of the United States to do student debt relief.
We reached out to Herschel Walker's team for a comment, but have not.
In tonight's Voices for Equality, we're going to introduce you to an Atlanta restaurant getting a lot of national attention for its unique cuisine.
Kamaya in Atlanta is a pop-up Filipino catering business. Owners Mia Orino and Carlo Gon say the concept of the business was created after struggling to find Filipino cuisine here in Atlanta. They say it inspired them to fill the gap.
I couldn't believe it. It's like being like you're there but not seen kind of thing. I imagine a city as major as Atlanta and there's no representation of your cuisine or your people. Kind of like it hit me, it hit a nerve.
Orino and Gon credit much of the pop-up success to social media and to word of mouth.
Hey, this reminds me back in the Philippines, like the food, the taste. And, and most of them, and some actually like, hey, we enjoyed, we'll be back again. So we always have those compliments from, not really compliments, but, it's for us, it's really heartwarming.
The business partners say being recognized as semifinalists for the James Beard Foundation's Emerging Chef Award gives them a new platform to help their community feel seen. To read more about their story and others that empower diverse voices in our community. This is Nayana Ferguson, and she knows what it means to be a fighter. She knows the definition of strength, and not just because she's a black woman. Nayana is a pancreatic and breast cancer survivor. She says that her journey led her to follow her dreams, and she's become the first black woman ever to own a tequila company. She started Antil Tequila back in 2018, and it quickly garnered national recognition for its types of tequila. It also grew a fan base for those looking for a healthier spirit option here in Georgia. Ferguson says her resilience has helped her continue in the male-dominated industry, and she hopes her presence will encourage other women and women of color to chase their dreams.
I hope that I'm inspiring and motivating others to get into the market. And there are a couple others that have come to the market, so I hope I have something to do with that. But I also find it rewarding because then this tells other women, other Black women, you could do anything that you put your mind to.
And Ferguson tells us she is not done yet. Later on this year, Antioch will be adding its 5th type of tequila to the collection, and the brand will be represented at several festivals in Atlanta. You can find more about Ferguson and Antioch tequila on our website, 11alive.com.
Please hold your love for Michael B.
There you have it. The screams say it all here, folks. Actor Michael B. Jordan helping the AUC celebrate homecoming over the weekend. Students at Clark Atlanta University, Spelman, and Morehouse were treated to food trucks all around the campus, and some of the lucky students received golden tickets to see the first ever trailer of Jordan's brand new movie, Creed 3. And after the movie trailer premiere, Michael B. Jordan came on stage and surprised the audience once again. And tonight, those students are grateful that the actor and the director celebrated their HBCUs in this major way.
We're the only school that has 4 HBCUs in one area. So for him to come and give to us like that, very grateful. Like, Michael B. Jordan has a big heart, and we're very beyond grateful about that.
It's probably going to be the best experience throughout the next 4 years. And I doubt anything could top that. But if Spelman can do it, Spelman can do it.
Oh, and then there's more. Michael B. Jordan also gave a student from each college $3,000 to go toward their tuition at their prospective schools. Freshman Devin Wiggins was one of those recipients. By the way, Michael B. Jordan's movie Creed 3 is going to hit theaters March 2023.